What's up, you guys? So, I accidentally, I was wiping the camera off of my screen, or the dust off of my camera on my screen, and it accidentally, stopped the video from recording, like 20 seconds in. But anyways, this necklace right here has Kirito's fur and ashes in them. Some of his ashes, not all of them, obviously, because that's a lot of ashes. And this ring right here has all my past babies' ashes in them. Queen Chocolate, Princess Marshmallow, and Kirito's ashes mixed with like different kinds of little tiny stones, like little opals, colored opals. They're made to look like a galaxy. So they're like little purple and pink. Can't see it because it's too dark. See a little tiny purplish, I guess. Anyways, people in their near-death experiences, why do they see Jesus all the time, but not God the Father? All right, so here's the deal. Jesus is God, yes, and also the Son of God, yes, we all know that. But God the Father doesn't come into people's near death experiences for two reasons. One, because he says in his word, you cannot see myself, or you cannot see my face and yet live. A person cannot see my face and yet live. Because if we see his face, that's it. Unless if he decides to erase our memory from it, we will, once we see him in our spirit form, he will keep us in heaven. He will never let us return. Because of his glory is way too strong, and our sinful physical bodies, the memory of his face would kill us. Because of how much glory his face has. And Jesus Christ, however, is the same thing, but it's one of those things we can't understand. People see Jesus, and a lot of times people see him with his face blurred or in light. I've seen Jesus Christ in different forms in my dream. Like one time he took the form of like a woman. Kind of, it's weird, I know, but it's for it was for divine purpose. Other forms he's like light. I've seen his face blurred out in my dreams before. I've seen Jesus Christ in my dreams as a being of light, but his face was blurred out. He was wearing the robes and stuff though. But when he does show himself, his face, he cancels out his glory of his face just enough that it won't kill people when they remember it. Or he takes the glory of his face out of their memory. So, that's one reason. The second reason is because... One second. The second reason is because God the Father is sitting on the throne right now in heaven watching me make this video. And, you remember Heaven is for Real, the little boy who went to heaven, Colton Burpo? Well, he actually explained that he actually did see God the Father. But, again, I think God did something special with Colton, because Colton's still alive, but he still remembers God the Father's face. The person that looked the most like God the Father was the angel Gabriel. That's what Colton said. And he also said that you have to look really way, 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 way up to see God's facial appearance. But the reason also why God the Father doesn't like come down and from heaven. It's not his size. He could take any size he wants. It's mostly always Jesus, because Father God. And these the NDEs I'm talking about are people who are seeing them, not in heaven, but like, well, sometimes in heaven, but God doesn't leave his throne. A lot of times people's NDEs in heaven are away from the throne room. That's the reason why they don't see God the Father, like, out in heaven, other than on the throne. So the reason for that is he is actually, and this is really, really awesome, God the Father right now is actually holding up the world. He is holding the universe in his hands. You know the song, he has the whole world in his hands? That's true. It is true. So, Colton Burple actually saw God the Father holding the earth in his hand. So he has to be there. God the Father is sitting on his throne. He has to be there and to hold up the world. If he moves, I don't know what would happen, but he's sitting on his throne holding up the world in his hands. So that is that is awesome news. That's so cool right there. And it's not because of his size, because he's thousands of feet tall, God the Father. It's not because he can... Sorry, I got something clogged in my throat. He can take any form he wants. He can make himself 6 feet tall if he wants and walk around heaven. But the reason why he's sitting on his throne is because he's got to hold the world in his hands, right? Or he could duplicate himself too, but it's... I don't know exactly what the reason is that he wouldn't do that or whatnot. I don't know, but he works in mysterious ways. And I actually have heard before that it was actually Jesus Christ that created the earth, not God the Father, but that it was Jesus who created the earth. I can't remember where I heard that from, but that might be a possibility. I don't know why, but... So, this is really some awesome news. I can't wait to get to heaven, because if we find out thousands of different things from the Bible about heaven and about God, not about God, because there's Bill Weiss actually explains in a testimony of his. I can't remember which one. It's only one. I've seen many of his testimonies in different churches. It's all the same testimony of his experience in hell. But in just one testimony, he explains that somebody died of accidentally in what's the word I'm looking for? We inhale, no, not inhale, but, like accidentally swallow something that you weren't supposed to. He accidentally swallowed bug spray or wasp spray or something like that. Ingested, that's it. He accidentally ingested wasp spray or something, bee spray, something like that. And he got poisoned. And later that night, he died. And he found himself in a library in heaven. And he found a book in the library in heaven called, I think it was like The Knowledge of God. Anyways, 2 millennia went by in heaven. And he was only on page 2. So, thousands of things you figure out about God is not possible. Because there's not thousands of things only on 2 pages, right? And we're only here on Earth for like 80, maximum 80 years. If God really has something in store for you that's like beyond something, then he would keep you here maybe until you're like 110 or something. But yeah, we couldn't figure out that much. I believe it would take millions of years to figure out like even 10 things about God in heaven. So just think about that. Oh, and millions of years when we get to heaven won't be go by while we're in the current heaven. It will be going by in the New Jerusalem, which is descended onto earth, because we're only going to, once me and you get to heaven, after we get raptured, we're only going to stay there for 1,000 years. And then after that 1,000 years is up, the New Jerusalem is descending from heaven, or heaven is descending from the sky onto the new earth after God refurbishes the new earth. I think he's going to do that with his fire and his blood. Because when Satan sinned in heaven, heaven was corrupt with sin, because Satan brought sin into heaven, and they weren't in a special part of heaven that was separated from heaven, like heaven itself. They were actually literally in heaven. Because Satan was actually a guardian of, he was like a cherubim. He was actually a guardian of, like a guard of, the Father's throne. So that's obviously in heaven. And how Jesus purified heaven was with his blood. One drop of a perfect eternal God's blood purifies anything. Even just one drop will purify the entire universe from sin, wickedness. Just one drop. And that's, so like the Milky Way is a galaxy, right? A galaxy is 100, the Milky Way is around 102 or 105,000 light years in diameter. And how much is 1 light year? How many miles is 1 light year? 6 trillion miles. And this is 105,000 light years in diameter. And that's just for the Milky Way galaxy. Imagine the entire universe, the size of the entire universe, right? The entire universe is, if you check on Google, it's people, obviously they're just assuming, but it's around 6 trillion light years. Or, no, wait. 6 billion or 90 billion or 90 trillion light years in diameter, the entire universe. And just 1 light year is 6 trillion miles. So that's just gives you a scale of how big a galaxy, the Milky Way, there's other galaxies like the Andromeda is bigger than the Milky Way. Other galaxies are probably like could be like 1 million light years across, but gives you the scale of size. But Jesus' blood, just 1 drop of his blood, will purify that entirety of the size of the entire universe from sin. Just 1 drop. That's amazing right there, because he's the king of the universe. Nothing tops God. Nothing's more powerful than God. God is infinitely powerful. Nothing is infinite except for God himself. So, yes, God is infinite, but he made our souls infinite as well. Our souls are eternal because God himself, who is eternal first, made our souls eternal. So that's the only way we're eternal beings, is because he gave us eternity. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. It's very powerful, and I hope you guys reach out to people and stuff like that with salvation. We don't have a lot of time left, I don't think. So I hope you guys enjoy.